talk a little bit. So, yeah. And so let's look at um, previously we finished the, where are we? Finish approximately about the, yeah, particle. We talk about ni, like 教室に誰もいません. Yeah, we talk about that. And yeah, let's continue. Um, 誰もいません。誰もいません。教室に. Okay, let me just get the yeah, markdown file out. I work as a programmer for a pretty long time, so I'm pretty like I love this like markdown to yeah. Hello Thomas, welcome. Okay, I'm still doing the preparation, and I'm making a Japanese bootcamp. Hello Bella, welcome. I'm making a Japanese bootcamp. So if you Google search Japanese bootcamp, I'm in fact ranking the first. That's me, and exactly what I'm doing. Like literally, I'm recording this right now, and I work as a programmer. So I love the concept of building public. So that's the reason I like to build this bootcamp in public. So basically, a session, I record a session. There's a main camera, so I'm going to look this way. Why I showcase the backstage behind scene sort of and then I chat with folks to get immediate feedback of what's the like question about specific language point, or what are you guys curious about, what's the like difficult parts, so I can instantly get feedback and modify and make this better. So essentially I want this like more about a building community thing rather than like me as a lecturer to like just stand there just doing all this lecture. Okay, I'm more, yeah, especially because I work as a programmer, so I know that artificial intelligence is like taking over the world, and yeah, so I want to do something that got a human touch. Okay, not just like just advanced. Hey, hello, Brand, hello, Tangong. Hi, welcome to stream. Yeah, so I think instead of just to wait for AI to because I write a lot of code, and I know that AI can do a lot of things, and it kind of like existential crisis because you know what I know is about writing code, but I think that if a model like updates and it can like actually replace all these years of hard learning, hard work, and yeah, this is just like an existential crisis. And then I realized that I have to like build a community and actually do something that a machine right now at least can't, because I realized that human love to talk to human, right? They love to get connected with another human being. So that's the reason I hi Carlos, welcome to the stream. Hello everybody. So that's the reason I try to stream and talk to you guys every day, right? So by building community, by building connection, like between people. So I think that's it's just something that you know the the person can provide, the people can provide, but machine can't do, AI can't do, even though they maybe got trained from the greatest uh, psychiatrist, greatest novels around the world, but human are craving like human interaction rather than just a pure like AI generated response. That's the reason I'm doing this stream every day. Yeah. And by the way, if you search Japanese bootcamp, because that's the thing I'm like actually making right now. So if you Google search Japanese bootcamp, I'm ranking it first on Udemy. That's my bootcamp, and I'm like facing that way to record, and then after session I will talk to you folks. Hi, hello Zilly, welcome. And then I'll talk to you folks. I got tons of camera around me, so yeah, um, so sort of you know, as if you folks like standing before me, so I can chat and talk to you folks, and just have a fun hangout, okay? And of course you can actually see that I'm diligently and like full-heartedly hardworking, okay, to record and put efforts into making this bootcamp. And that's the reason it's ranking the first. If you Google search Japanese bootcamp, I'm ranking the first. So I try to make as detailed as interesting um, as possible. Okay, so yeah, previously let's go back. Yeah, I'm going to boot this main camera, so I'm going to facing that way. But I would like it, like after recording this session, I will chat with the folks and then see the feedback. So feel free to just you know, join the chat, answer the question, or maybe just follow whatever grammatical point or whatever things that you folks are interested in. Just join the chat. You folks can chat with each other. That's that'll be fun. Right. So yeah, I already put up the main camera, and so I'm going to face it that way. Okay. And this is seems like a behind scene. Okay. So basically, I got a green screen behind me, and I'm going to like calm myself out. Okay, and put that on my computer screen. So um, that's what I'm doing. Okay. So previously we talked about the ni, right? It's a common particle ni, and we talk about the kyoshisu ni daremo imasen, right? It's like a negative way to say things. Like basically this ni is about location of existence, right? And yeah, and so we left with the comparison of de, right? And I think it's very good like opportunity to talk about that. I got another flash goal. What's flash goal? Oh, gifter. Okay, I'm going to ping this flash goal. So please, if you got some like a this is like a rose or something. If you got something to spare, please help me to reach that goal. Right. So thanks. And yeah, so let's continue. We talk about 教室に誰もいません. Yeah, so yeah, I am going to start our recording. So yeah, I'm going to start the recording now. And I don't know why I'm like not online anymore. It's pretty weird. It's pretty weird because it's supposed to be like a continue to stream, but a stream manager. Why is offline? Okay, I don't know what's going on, and highlight start broadcasting. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, what the hell? Let's just click this. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to start recording now. So I may not be able to like talk to the folks and start walking, but it's weekend, so yeah. Normally it's like this. I will like brew a lot of coffee, and then when I finish drinking all the coffee, and let's call it for a day. But today it's a weekend, so I just get tons of water to keep myself hydrated, and I don't want to like push myself too hard. The previous last pushed myself too hard and like a sick for a few months, and yeah, so sometimes like taking a good rest is pretty good. So we talk about de, right? So de and ni also is pretty similar. because it can showcase the location, right? Got so much more. So let's start. One example of there. So for example, we play at the park, right? We play at the park. Park, we talk about this, 공원. 공원. core means the public, right? Like 公鉄, 私鉄. Like in Japan, the public transport, it actually can be private owned. So that's the reason a lot of trains is 私鉄, right? So this ko and shi is the contrary, right? So for example, koen, that means the public park. And is like a garden, okay? So koen literally means the ko is public, and then en is the garden. Got like a lot of flowers and grass and all that. So koen literally means the public garden, okay? So look at here, like 私鉄. She is like private. This specific scenario, 私鉄 is like a railway service, right? Like a railway. A lot of country actually like forbids the private company to own this like crucial, transportation, like a food industry or something like that. A lot of country actually protect this because it can't let like a private company to own this because just think about this. If a private company actually own some like really important structure as important like the like a railway, and they can like forbid people, specific people on that railway, it simply is not going to work. Okay, so you know what? Japan is so open-minded about this. Of course, they got like a different regulations, especially about this like crucial, like structural importance in the whole society, industry. They got a special regulation about it, but it does allow private company to own this. So you know what? Koen public garden, but 私鉄 is private railway. It's owned by company. Just think about that. How amazing is that? So yeah, so ko and shi, right? Like a contrary, public and private, right? Ko and 私鉄. So for example, we play at the park, right? So basically, at the park is the place, is the location of the action play that actually happened at that specific place. So you can actually use this there to indicate that. So for example, 公園 is a specific place. So 公園で遊びます. Okay? As I mentioned multiple times, when you first start learning Japanese, you just use des must. It can't go wrong. Okay? So you know what? 公園で遊びます. That literally means at the public garden, and de means at. 公園で. If you just say 公園で, that means at the park, and then because the indication of the de is the sort of hint the location of certain action, means that at the park we do something or we did something. We got some like action going on at a specific place. So that's the reason using de to indicate the location of an action. So what action? 公園で遊びます. Okay, so basically the play is an action. So 公園で遊びます. We play at the park. 公園で遊びます. Okay, so yeah, we learn a lot, not just 公園, but also 私鉄, ko, shi. Right, so it's like two contrary concepts. And this there means where an action take place. The action is 遊びます. This action take place at the park. 公園で. All right, that's pretty easy one, right? That's pretty easy one. 公園で遊びます. Right? So that's the I think, and that's pretty similar to the ni, but ni is more like the existence. We talk about ni, right? Ni like 教室に学生がいます. Like 学生がいます. Like there are students, but ni is more like in hi Angele, ale Alejandro. Yeah, I don't know whether I pronounced that correctly. So, sorry. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I'm just talking about the ni, like comparison of the de and ni, right? So ni is more about the existence, right? Like 教室に学生がいます. Ni is like marks the like something exists. Like 学生がいます. Imas means that it's a living thing. Like 学生 is a living. It's not arimas. Arimas is more about some object that exists. So this ni is like 教室に学生がいます, いる, right? So the student exists. So ni is more about the location of existence rather than like we just mentioned, like 公園で遊びます is like an action take place at a certain place. Okay, so that's a little bit different. So yeah, by the way, I'm not recording that right now, so that's the reason I'm talking to you folks. And then when I click it and you see that I'm like looking that way because that's the main camera. That's when I record this. Okay. Today will be a little bit short session. Normally I will stream for 1 or 2 hours per day. Today is like a weekend, so I'm going to stream for less than 1 hour and call it for a day. Okay, so happy weekends. Enjoy your weekends. You need to rest in order to work. Okay. So normally this is like my routine. I will brew a coffee, and then I will drink all of the coffee, and then that's the end of the stream. So that's the plan. But today it's a water. Alright, so let's continue. There. So we talk about there as a location where certain action take place. Like 公園で遊びます. 遊びます. 遊ぶ. This is like a play. Let me just give you the original form. 遊ぶ, right? This action take place at a certain place. That place is 公園. So 公園で遊びます. Play at the park. Okay, so we talk about that. What about so for example, if I say I go to work by train. Like I go by train. So think about this. I go by train. That means I go there by a certain means of transportation. Okay? So that transportation is by train. That transportation is the train. Train, we talk about 私鉄, right? So train, another word that a little bit connected with this is called 電車, right? 電車. 電車, den is electric. 車 is like car, like 車, right? So 車 is like a car, like driving a car, driving 車, right? 運転する. 電車 literally means the electric car. But when you put that together, it's actually just a subway, right? Like a tube. So 電車. So we can say I go by train. That means I go there by a certain means of transportation, right? So I can say 電車. So first, I already told you this is the transportation that I take. 電車. Remember, で. That means by train. Okay, 電車で. I'm using で to indicate this is the transportation I choose. Right? 電車で Then I'm going to say, I do something, right? So remember, like the there is always, most of the time, indicates you're doing a certain action by by a certain location where an action take place in a certain location, or by a certain like a means, by using certain transportation, something like that. And that's exactly what we are going to do. So it's like I go, it's like ikimasu, right? Ikimasu. But it's not just ikimasu, it's not just I go, but also I want to say I go by a certain action, right? So 電車で ikimasu. Not just ikimasu, but rather I'm using that certain transportation to go. So the de we use after 電車 indicate this is the transportation that I took. Not just 行きます, but also 電車で行きます. You can even sometimes you can make it like a different order, like 行きます, 電車で. Yeah, that's also a very native Japanese. So basically, you're adding a little bit more information. Just think about this. If you use in English, it's like I go, right? I go, but I go by train, right? So by train, literally translated, is 電車で. Densha is the train, electric car, train, right? So yeah, I know. All that is kuruma. So 電車 de by train. Okay, the de is using like you sort of treat Japanese as a sticky language. Okay, so basically all this grammatical important thing will stick at certain like noun, right? Densha is a noun, right? It's like train, and then you stick to it at the end of the densha to indicate by. Right? It's just to think about it. In English, it's like a by train, right? By and train. This is like a train by. Okay, densha de. You stick at the end. So yeah, hope that clarifies things. So 電車で ikimasu. Okay, I go by train. Another typical example of using de to indicate a means of transportation. Ooh, another down, right? So, yeah, I think today we can finish with the de, and because there is major like three meanings, like where action taking place. Hi, Tony. Tony, welcome to the stream. Yeah, we talked about the there, right? The location of the action. Yeah, we'll talk about like there. Majorly it's like three usage cases. One is where action take place, like 公園で遊びます, like 公園で a specific place, and then just the action. Or we just talk about 電車で行きます, like a means of transportation, right? By means of like using a certain thing, right? So like 電車で行きます. Like 電車 is like a train by go. I go by train. So you have to like reverse the order a little bit. Like I go by train, by means of certain transportation. So 電車 and then で. So yeah, the second thing. The third thing that I'm just about to record is a certain tool, right? So you're using specific thing and then adding a there, right? Japanese is like a sticky language. You stick a there at the end of that specific tool, and then you say something like 走って食べません. Right? I don't eat with chopstick. A little bit negative here, just to make things interesting. Or 走って食べます. Right? So it's like I use chopsticks to eat. So basically, it's like a certain tool. But if you think about it, it's like a 電車で行きます. This is also a kind of a tool for transportation, right? So 電車で行きます. So yeah. But yeah, you can use a lot of tools, not just 電車. So it's kind of like a border. But yeah, all this classification is a little bit overlapped. You can't like separate the specific thing another thing. Like strictly speaking, you can't separate everything is connected. But yeah, hopefully that is a very like roughly good classification, right? So yeah, let me broaden this a little bit because I think the material and tool for there is also a very important concept, and I don't want to get you folks confused because yeah, and after that is the end. Hey Jason, Jason Johnson, welcome. Hey JJ, hey hello. So 走って食べません。Um, yeah, by the way, I forgot to bring the AirPlug because I don't want to um, yeah yeah that's more like it. I'm going to connect that to okay. Hopefully that's so it works. Right. So yeah, let's just do this. Hello, hello, blue butterfly. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, yeah, you look pretty familiar. You must have joined the stream like just a few days ago. Yeah, because I think it's really familiar name. Welcome. And yeah, in fact, it's like the last video I'm going to record today because it's weekend. Just but I want to stream like every day. So yeah, so hopefully yeah, I can still provide some value. Okay. Thanks for joining the stream. Blue Butterfly. Hello. Um, so yeah, we talk about yeah yeah there. Yeah, but by the way, I made a mistake. Just yeah, just a few minutes ago, I made a mistake. It's that hashi is the bridge, but chopstick should be ohashi. Okay, it's a little bit nuanced for pronunciation, like hashi and hashi, right? So it should be ohashi. Right? So normally we add a or before that specific thing to make it like beautify, make it more polite. So ohashi. So I should say like ohashi, not ahashi. It's very nuanced pronunciation, but like ohashi de tabe masen or ohashi de tabe or tabemas. So I don't eat with chopsticks. So there's like a tool. Okay, so yeah, with chopsticks. Yeah, I think like I go by train. By train. 電車で行きます。Yes, it's a kind of similar, but in English it's a little bit different. It's a by train. One is by train. The other is like eat with chopstick. So maybe that's the difference. That's the difference of the English language. But I think in Japanese, like 電車でとかお箸で S also using a kind of tool because densha is also a tool. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah. But yeah, but I want to like adding a little bit. Um, okay, ni no de to chikai. Well, we already talked about like ni no e no chikai. Hello, Kimberly. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, we already talked about ni to de no chikai. Ni is more like the 場所、状態など、学校にいます。で is like 学校で like 勉強します。Something like that. So, ここで Yeah, yeah. By the way, if you like, you're using English, like 英語で So for example, you're doing a presentation. So 英語で発表する No? Right? So it's like asking you a question. 英語で発表するの日本語でやります So like 日本語で like using. So like this way, I think this they're also using language as a tool. So like お箸で食べます like 電車で like 行きます Yeah, I think all that can be classified as a certain tool, right? お箸とか電車でとか Yeah, I think that's yeah, that's enough explanation. I think that's pretty good. But yeah, so yeah, one more recording and call it for a day. Right, so yeah, and so before we get started, let's just distinguish these two because a little bit pronunciation difference. So hashi is the bridge. Hashi is the chopsticks, and I personally recommend that you remember hashi, the chopstick, as ohashi, right? Because that's normally most people speak and refer to the chopstick because it's like just like ocha. Adding or before that specific thing to make it more polite, right? So ohashi. So hashi, ohashi. Okay, so it's a little bit down the town, right? So this is chopsticks. Ohashi is kind of chopsticks. So you can sort of treat this as the same meaning like the densha. All that is a certain tool by a certain means, or if you are using something, right? We talk about like a densha de ikimasu, like by train, by using train, by means of train, I go. So I go by train, okay? But if you say something like I eat with chopsticks, so with chopsticks, it's kind of like just in English, just like with chopsticks. I eat with chopsticks, but I think you can more think of this way. I eat by means of chopsticks. I eat by using chopsticks, right? So basically, it's still that kind of tool, it's still kind of a material, still kind of thing that you use in order to do something. So, you know what? Using de. Okay? So, ohashi. Chopsticks. Hashi is the bridge. Ohashi. Okay, so this is like a just treat this as a completely two different words by using or. Okay, that's a little bit trick for you. So adding or, but yeah, we don't normally usually add an or before the bridge like ohashi. Yeah, normally don't add this. So ohashi de taberu, right? Make it more polite. Taberu, tabemasu. Okay? So basically, you say that I eat with chopsticks. Okay? So basically, the de here, just like 電車で行きます pretty similar, but 電車で is more about the means of transportation. So by train, by car, something like that. But here, this is more about the material or about the tool that you're using. Okay? So you use there you stick this because as I mentioned before, Japanese is like a sticky language, so stick a lot of things just behind. And if you use like a other language like point of view, it should like like a there and then ohashi. But you know what? Yeah, the order is a little bit different because it's a sticky language, so everything like stick at the end. So ohashi de stick a de at the end of ohashi means that this is the tool that you use to 食べる to 食べます to eat things. So yeah, お箸で食べます or let's make it a little bit interesting by making like a 食べません right? It's like I don't eat with chopsticks. Okay, chopsticks are like a really hard tool to use. Okay, but you like get used to it. It's actually a pretty precise tool, right? So you can like doing this precise chopsticks and you grab the certain thing. A lot of like kung fu sort of movies, like using like chopsticks to get some like fly like and then something like that. But yeah, but some people like with practice they can actually do that with chopsticks. But you know what? Some people can't do that. So you know what? I don't eat with chopsticks. お箸で食べません. I can't use this tool, right? お箸で using there to stick at the end of the tool to indicate that it's a tool that I use. And you know what? Negative 食べません. It's like I can't, I don't eat with chopsticks. Okay, so yeah, hopefully that explains things. So basically, a quick review. There is like so first it's like specific action take place at a certain place, right? Like a 公園で遊びます, right? So at a certain place. So it's like a at. But also you can also use the there like in English like by, okay? Like a by train, okay? I go by train. So you use de to cover the by. So for example, 電車で行きます. So I use the electric cars to go there. Or you can use this as a with, okay? So, oh my gosh, this is like a there for every, for everything. It's not actually for everything, but you know what? You can actually like replace English with, right? It's like I eat with chopsticks. I don't eat with chopsticks. With you use there like this certain tools, certain material, right? So箸で食べる or 食べます or 食べません, right? So yeah. So how amazing is the particle there? Oh, whew. So yeah, I think that's enough for yeah. So for today's stream, as I mentioned, it will be a pretty short stream. So sorry about that. Hi, Dammit. Just about to finish with today's stream. So welcome to join at the last minute. So yeah. So hopefully, if folks yeah, just get to know me and please follow by click this follow button, and so next time you can find me, okay? And if you just Google search, if you're interested in learning Japanese, you just Google it. Google Japanese bootcamp. I'm the first one. I'm that first to to make that Japanese bootcamp. So actually, I'm making this every day, and I stream to build this in public, talk to you folks, and adding more contents, adding more explanations to my bootcamp. So if you're interested, this is like backs behind the scenes sort of thing. But if you want to see what's going on at the bootcamp, also I work as a developer, so I develop like a AR VR like immersive learning experience as well as the like like visual novel sort of style learning to my bootcamp as well as sort of like experiments thing. So if you are interested, feel free to join. And that's the end of today's stream. So thank you so much. It's nearly like 40 minutes. So yeah, thanks. Bye. Bye. Bye.